Time right now is 6:58 on the East Coast, 3:58 in the morning on the West Coast. My name is Karala Hara, and thanks for joining us here at Live Now from Fox on this Thursday. It's January 8th. Our top story so far this morning continues to be the shooting involving an ICE officer, an ICE agent in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We also have these live images coming in from that shooting scene. As you can see, some people have gathered at this time. There's also some candles set up there that you can see way in the back on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, as far as what to know so far about this entire investigation going forward, the Associated Press saying that federal officers and local leaders clashing just yesterday over their differing characterizations of that fatal shooting by an immigration and customs enforcement officer in Minneapolis. While President Trump's administration described the killing of a 37-year-old woman as an act of self-defense amid his latest immigration crackdown, Minneapolis officials have disputed that narrative. The woman was shot in her car in a residential neighborhood south of downtown Minneapolis, just about a mile from where police killed George Floyd back in 2020. Videos taken by bystanders and posted to social media showed an officer approaching an SUV stopped in the middle of the road, demanding the driver open the door and grabbing the handle. Then the Honda Pilot, which is what the vehicle was, began to pull forward, and a different ICE officer standing in front of the vehicle pulls his weapon and immediately fires at least two shots into the vehicle at close range, jumping back as the vehicle moves toward him. In just a moment, we're going to check in with our partners at Fox 9 in Minneapolis because they are live at this same scene that we're taking a look at right now. And they have some more information and details on what we can expect later on today in terms of possible updates from state and local leaders. Now, it's not clear from the videos if the vehicle made contact with the officer, that is the vehicle in which the woman was inside. The SUV then sped into two cars parked on a curb nearby before crashing to a stop. Witnesses can be heard shouting in shock. Now, the victim has been identified as Renee Good. She died of the gunshot wounds to the head. She described herself on social media as, quote, a poet, a writer, and wife and mom who was from Colorado. Calls and messages to her family have not immediately been returned to the Associated Press, and I do know that Fox 9 is also reaching out as well. Public records did show that Good had recently lived in Kansas City, Missouri, where she and another woman with the same home address had started a business last year called Be Good Handiwork. In a video posted from the scene on social media, a woman who describes Good as her wife is seen sitting near the vehicle sobbing. She said the couple had only recently arrived in Minnesota and they had a 6-year-old child. Her killing quickly drew hundreds of angry protesters. It is at least the fifth death to result from the U.S. immigration crackdown the Trump administration launched just last year. At the same time, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem described the officer, who has not been identified publicly, as an experienced officer and said he had been injured in June after being dragged by the vehicle of an anti-ICE protester. She said the officer was hit by the vehicle during Wednesday's shooting and taken to the hospital. He has since been discharged. We played out some of Secretary Noem's comments within the last hour. She did say, quote, our officer followed this training. He did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers. Secretary Noem said that officers were trying to push a vehicle out of the snow when a group of protesters descended on them. The officers had just completed an operation and were trying to return to headquarters. She then went on to say that the woman was blocking the officers with her vehicle and refused to heed commands from law enforcement. However, local leaders are disputing some of these claims. Police Chief Brian O'Hara, for example, giving no indication that the driver was trying to harm anyone when he described the shooting to reporters. And Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey called Noem's description of the events, quote, garbage, saying he had watched videos of the shooting that show it wasn't self-defense and was avoidable. Frey criticized the federal deployment of more than 2,000 officers to the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, saying, quote, they're ripping families apart, they're sowing chaos on our streets, and in this case, quite literally killing people. We know that later on today at around 9 a.m. Eastern time, at least so far, Secretary Noem will be giving another immigration update. In the meantime, let's turn to our partners at Fox 9 in Minneapolis for more on the story.
Good was the mother of 3 children, and the many.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, I am up early because this stuff does not end, okay? Good morning. Shout out to all of y'all that are here. If you're on replay, that's fine too. Just make sure you hit the like button for me, subscribe if you are new. I got to go to work. I have 2 hours before I actually have to leave and go into the actual office. I've had 1 cup of coffee and 1 bowl of oatmeal. I'm up, okay? Just came in from the gym, just got out of the shower, and I'm like, oh my God, of course we knew it would be more, right? We knew it would be more, but the crazy part is, listen, this is live now, so I feel like they're just even killed, right? But if you look at the picture on the thumbnail, and we take a look at what we watched yesterday, remember when we were hearing someone that was saying, no, I think that was her wife. I think that was her wife, the person that was standing outside the vehicle. We're going to look at it in a second. I'm going to let them continue with the updates. But the person that was remember standing in the back of the vehicle videoing? Why are you out here videoing? Why are you not in the car with your wife? Why are you not in the car with your wife? Don't that seem weird? That don't seem like you were not there to do something that you ain't got no business doing. And y'all got kids? What'd I say? What'd I say yesterday? So you think when you have responsibilities like children that this is what the hell it is that you should be doing, all in the name of you can't stand Donald Trump? Y'all, listen, shout out to y'all that were there last night when I was on ARP, A Righteous Perspective. Shout out to Wise and everybody on the panel last night, right? If you think that the best use of your time when you have a family, when you have kids, is to be out there in them streets fighting for people that at the end of the day wouldn't raise a pinky for you, and you end up in some crazy ass situation, then that sounds like it's a you problem to me. Y'all know I got limited amount of empathy and sympathy, and I ain't got none for this. But the way that people see things differently or choose to see things differently is crazy. Why are you there? Why is your car parked sideways? Why is your wife outside the car? Nobody want to ask any questions. These people just out here was like, oh my God, it's wrong. Oh my God, it's wrong. People don't even know what they be protesting for just because they got the freedom to do so, but gonna be telling everybody else in other places what the hell they need to do. You think I'm being led by these crazy ass people that we didn't see in the last couple of days and the way that they, hold on, I didn't even turn on Instagram, my bad. Hold on, let me turn on Instagram. Child, I didn't ran off and just started, okay? Shout out to Instagram. But you think that some of them crazy people we saw yesterday, we supposed to be listening to them? I'm sorry, y'all don't even have common sense for anybody to be listening to. So if you're gonna be led by a bunch of people that don't think for themselves, good luck to y'all. Good luck to y'all. But let me go ahead and give them the update, and then we're gonna read the updates on who is this outside of the car? Why is the wife outside of the car? I feel like that's a good question that needs to be answered, along with why was the car pointed sideways?
Minneapolis City Council confirming she was a resident of the city. Good was driving a car around 9:30 yesterday morning in South Minneapolis near 34th and Portland. Federal officials claim she was trying to run over ICE agents, so one of them fired 3 shots in self-defense, killing her. State and city elected leaders dispute that account. Witnesses captured video of the shooting as people went to the area to see what was happening.
And here is the scene from another angle here.
I'm trying to get beautiful because, child, I just got out of the shower. Sorry, y'all. Let's look at this right here. We familiar. This is allegedly the wife. This is allegedly the wife right here. We've seen this video. Look, hold on. Let me bring y'all over here to New York Post, which we about to look at in a second. Don't that look like the same person? Hold on. You see that white hat? You see that white hat? It's looking like the same person. Maybe I'm wrong.
The area to see what was
look like a plaid coat or a jacket or whatever. Look like a plaid coat or a jacket. Is look like a plaid coat. Child, I thought this was a. Where my headset? Child, I didn't even got the headset on. This looked like a non-woman to me. When I first saw this, I'm like, that's a non-woman. What are we talking about? This is alleged. This is the woman blamed herself for the fatal SHOOT. This woman right here. This is what the caption says, right? I don't know if you can see my mouse. Under this picture, this caption right here, child, I swear to you, I thought this was a man. I promise you, I thought this was a man. It says the woman blamed herself for the fatal shooting. Is that what we doing? Oh, is that what we doing? Because regardless, this is the, let me bring you back over. This looked like the same outfit to me. The person crying, no! What you crying no for? You knew this was going to happen. That's why you was sitting out there recording that shit.
And here is the scene from another angle here, which President Trump referenced when posting to social media yesterday. That shows the situation from the front of the car. Again, a lot of different videos out there. Here's a look, both angles side by side, first in real time, and then we're going to slow it down. We are giving you this, both views, because in the back angle, it's unclear if the agent is hit by the car. In the front angle, it does seem to show contact. Federal agents say the agent, quote, feared for his life and was following training. Witnesses dispute that, saying Good was trying to leave, turn around, and leave the area when she was shot. Now, following the shooting, a massive crowd showed up there for a demonstration right there at the scene.
Of course they did. They're like mentally trained to be assholes.
And we know more protests are expected today demanding ICE leave Minneapolis. Bill Keller is live at the scene with how the victim is being remembered this morning. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. And all of this less than 24 hours after federal ICE agents shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good. This morning, you can see behind me there is a makeshift barricade that has been set up. It's blocking off Portland, which is a one-way street southbound. It's prohibiting traffic from driving past the scene where there is a growing memorial near 34th and Portland. Take a look at this video from last night. Hundreds of people showing up for a vigil, packing the streets where the shooting happened. Many people showing up to express their grief and outrage, bringing flowers, candles, and signs that read, "Remember." Here's some of what happened as demonstrators came to remember Renee Good.
We're here today because we lost a community member who was doing what was right. She was fighting for her immigrant neighbors, just as so many.
Child. So we've been off for about, what time is it? About 12, 13 hours or so, right? Anybody seen any immigrants come out to say anything about her, Bueller? Has anyone seen any immigrants come out and say, hey there, we're here for you. Hey, we're so sorry. What can we do to help? How is it that we can do something for you since you were doing something for... Anybody seen that, Bueller? Anyone seen them come out to do anything for her or anyone else for that matter? Anybody see any illegal immigrants, nobody come out and say nothing? Send me something on the email or in my DM on Instagram where you see them out here doing anything for Renee Good. Because everything that I've been looking at, I ain't synced near one. This is what I'm talking about. These people just program themselves because they hate Donald Trump so much at this point, and they want to just say the government is so bad. But these are the same people that want the government to take care of them, make it make sense. These are the same people that was crying for food stamps, these are the same people that voted for Ma'am Danby to come on up in here so that you could get free health care, you could get free bus care, child, you could get free food stamps, free housing, all the free. But you hate the government, but you want the government to take care of you. What is wrong with your brains to not understand that the person that takes care of you completely controls you? While you're out here saying one thing, your actions are saying something completely different. I'm gonna need someone to make that shit make sense. They ain't got nothing to do with Donald Trump. This has to do with people and their stupidity, where they're not even using their brain. You're not using your brain. You're asking for the freaking government to take care of you. You're asking for the government to take care of you. You're asking for free shit. And then you think you can tell the person that's giving you free shit what to do? You're actually giving them the freaking control that you claim that you don't want. What is wrong with y'all? I don't get it. How are you this dumb? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Stay the fuck away from us normal people. This has nothing to do with who you like. This has something to do with your life. Y'all gotta stop focusing on fucking Donald Trump and focus on the fucking facts of what's going on. You cannot be sitting here saying 1 second, no king, no king, no king, and then turn around and say you want the government to take care of you. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Why is that weird as adults to take care of yourself? This woman had a whole ass wife, allegedly, and 3 kids, allegedly. And the best thing she could do is go fight for motherfuckers that wouldn't lift a finger to help her, her wife, her kids, or you or me.
Many of us have been. And now she's gone.
Say her name, Renee Good. Renee.
Like we said last night on ARP's show. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. As we said on sorry y'all. Hold on.
Good. Renee Good.
Yeah, despite the large crowds, a mostly peaceful protest last night. Earlier in the day, a different scene, massive crowds flooding the street in the aftermath of that shooting. Protesters throwing snowballs at law enforcement vehicles as they left the area. And while many local leaders are sharing their outrage for what happened, they are encouraging anyone who wants to demonstrate to be protesting peacefully. Meanwhile, Governor Tim Walz has issued an order to prepare the National Guard. If needed, they'd be available to help with public safety and have an emergency response operation set up.
We see these types of things happen, and we saw it after the murder of George Floyd. There's folks that want to cause chaos. There's the disruptors in it. And
Timmy want to keep bringing up George Floyd. Child, George Floyd ain't got shit to do with this. That's 6 years ago. Why are we bringing him up? Oh, because they want to start something to make it coincide so people can get even more incensed. Y'all keep allowing people to lead y'all. Keep allowing people to lead y'all.
The vast majority of those protests were peaceful expressions of their First Amendment rights. There were those that destroyed property and put people at risk. The National Guard is there to make sure that peaceful protests are able to be done and that those that want to do the destruction are stopped from doing that.
Now, following the murder of George Floyd, we saw similar barricades like the one behind me. They were set up cutting off traffic to 38th in Chicago. Unclear how long the city will allow these to stay here because, Tom and Kelly, everyone from the mayor to the governor made it very clear peaceful protests are not allowed to interfere with traffic. But for now, they're taking a wait-and-see approach.
Wait. Hold on, child. What'd you say?
Here. Because, Tom and Kelly, everyone from the mayor to the governor made it very clear peaceful protests are not allowed to interfere with traffic. But for now.
Oh, so peaceful protests are not allowed to interfere with traffic. Did you hear what that man just said? Peaceful protests are not allowed to interfere with traffic. But Renee Good can interfere with traffic by having her vehicle sideways, clearly to block. If y'all can't see that, why is her car pointed sideways when the traffic is going the opposite or going straight through where she was? Because she was protesting, but her protest is okay. But now these people that want to come out and protest got to know, child, you can't block traffic, but she could block traffic with her protest. Forget all that. Forget all that. Ain't nobody seen that, none of that. So no one understands that. So all y'all that's pro just being chaotic don't see that, right? Okay, something wrong with people's brains. The man just said it. And why does Timmy need to tell people how to protest? Why does Timmy need to tell people how to protest? Bringing up George Floyd's name is supposed to get people incensed and emotional so they can go out and be chaotic. And they follow hook, line, and sinker. Good morning to BT. I appreciate you, boo. He said, good morning, Michon, in the chat. He's only talking to those with common sense around here. I'm going to go ahead and speak for him. Good morning to all of y'all. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. We got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time because I got to go to work. But let me go ahead and let him finish and see what else he has to say.
They're taking a wait-and-see approach.
Right. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Bill Keller live at the scene of where this all happened.
And now to a live look outside of Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis. In the wake of yesterday's shooting, all Minneapolis schools are closed for the rest of the week. The district says it made that call in light of current tensions and to keep everybody safe.
Well, this news comes as we are learning about ICE activity.
The same Nazis that y'all is looking for to feed y'all and clothe y'all and give you free buses and give you free daycare. You mean the same Nazis that are allowing all that fraud to go on, not only in Minneapolis, but in Minneapolis in the billions? Those same Nazis, your Trump derangement syndrome is showing. Please stop this. Please stop this. So it makes sense for a mother of three to go out here to quote unquote fight Nazis. I'm going to need y'all to understand what it is that you're saying. So you're saying that a liberal white woman who I can't stand them, okay, is okay for her to go out here and allegedly fight Nazis in the middle of the street against a bunch of law enforcement officers. That makes sense to y'all? All right, cool. Shout out to y'all. Do your thing. Do your thing. If that's what you want to do, go on out there. Have a good time. We gonna sit here and watch y'all do shit that don't make no sense. Cause them same Nazis are the same Nazis that people are asking to feed them and clothe them, to pay for their bus, to pay for their daycare. So if that makes sense for you to say that they Nazis and then turn around and say that you want something from the Nazis, I'm thinking that y'all got a problem.
Activity at one of the Minneapolis high schools yesterday. Our Chinu Her has details on that story from the Live Center this morning. Chinu?
Hey, good morning, Tom and Kelly. We know Minneapolis Public Schools, they sent out that announcement last night saying there will be no classes in session for the rest of the week due to safety concerns. So they're doing this out of an abundance of caution. So here is that announcement there, again, from the district saying out of an abundance of caution, classes and all MPS-sponsored activities have been canceled. Plus, they add that the district will not move to e-learning because that is only allowable for severe weather. MPS says they will continue collaborating with the city of Minneapolis and other partners on emergency preparedness and response. In a statement, the Minneapolis Federation of Educators say ICE deployed tear gas at a school site and, in their words, in their statement here, abducted a member of the staff. The union says this happened while the member was doing their job yesterday afternoon. That member has since been released. Now, we know the situation here that the union is referring to. It reportedly happened at Roosevelt High School. So right now we're digging into this to see if we can find out more on what happened. And we will be sure to update you as soon as we learn more about that situation. Yeah. But yeah, again, all classes in Minneapolis canceled today.
Right. And tomorrow. All right. That's our Chinu Her live in the Live Center. Thank you.
Of course, this is a story we will continue to follow. Right now, though, we do want to shift over to meteorologist Keith Marler. All
right, we don't care about the weather, but I haven't even gotten to it yet. There was a mass shooting in Utah, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Utah. Yeah, they're not talking about that. But let me go on over here to this article on the New York Post. It said a video appears to show hysterical, blood-covered wife of Renee Good, woman killed by ICE, crying out, "It's my fault." Let me see if I can refresh this and get the video to come up. Give me a second. Because, again, this certainly looks like the woman that was out there screaming. Out there screaming. Why is your wife outside of the car? Why is your wife outside of the car? I'm confused. Why your wife not in the car? Sounds like a plan to me. Let me let this commercial go and then I'll let this play. Hold on.
Realtor.com. With Real Commute, it's easy to find a home close to your heart. Do y'all recycle? Realtor.com.
This is what Free Palestine means to Hamas.
They just killed that lady right there in that car, y'all. Killed that lady in that car. It's a lady right there in that car, y'all. Y'all know who car this is? Tell them to come check on their people. Lady got blood. They don't. She was in the car with her, bro.
It looked like she was outside of the car to me.
Or she tried to save her or something. Somebody come get their people. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet? Man, I just smoked this lady right here, cuz. I just smoked this lady right here, bro. Hit her in her. Her wife was in her car. Her wife up over there with blood all up over her face and bro. Like, they guys just really came out here tweaking, bro. I was in the crib chilling. Just heard some shots. Yeah. That's her, y'all. Ice done killed her. Man. Yeah. It's too cold out here, though. I don't know what kind of pose those, them bitches. See, they took the body all the way down there somewhere. Shot her in her head while she was driving, trying to record them. She ended up crashing to that crashed to that.
So she was recording them. So hold on, let me play it again now that they played all the way through. So tearful wife identifies victim as agents confront witnesses in ICE shooting aftermath. Hold on a second. Let me go back over here. Or let me bring up another New York Post. Hold on. Oh no, I got my video. My video from yesterday that we watched. Hold on, y'all. I have it somewhere. I have so many tabs open. Give me a second. Let me see. Video from yesterday, live stream from yesterday, where we watched it in slow motion. All right.
That first forced the tragic situation where a woman
a couple of times, and that is when.
All right, remember,
you just played the video without audio. I have in the newsroom listened to it, viewed it, and I think as the mayor and the police chief filled in some of the holes during their news conference,
okay, so remember this guy was telling us get ready, but he didn't give us a warning. All right, so that's the video that's about to play. Let me get to it. Hold on. So my question is, you hear that person saying, no. Who is that? Who is that?
Ruth wants to tell me now that we can play it with some audio. Why don't we roll that for you now?
No!
This is you see my mouse? Who is this right here? Who is this right here? I just got a question. Who is this right here? I'm just asking questions.
Shit!
Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Why are you outside of the car? I'm confused. And whose white car is this? The white truck in the middle of the road. Whose truck is that? Is that her truck also? Were they in the car together? Were they not? The dude just said that they was in the car together. It don't look like they was in the car. I mean, they probably was in the car together when they showed up. So then she did her, this is what I was saying to those that are new here. If the street is going, just say north and south, why is she facing east and west? If the street goes north and south, why is she facing east and west with this car? This is her car. She was blocking traffic. She was blocking traffic.
That for you now.
Slow it down.
No!
Now this is after they showed up. There's longer video, but
no!
Now I don't know who showed. Maybe it's somebody different saying no. Maybe it's somebody different who's screaming no, because I feel like it's the person who's recording this. Has anybody seen or heard from the woman that's recording this video right here where she's saying no? Just let me know if you've seen it or send me that video. But it certainly looks like the woman is outside of the car. It looked like she outside of the car.
Shit!
I'm confused. Is that not her? In back of this white truck? Let me mute it. It look like her. White hat, plaid jacket. Running over there. Is he running over there? Where's I thought she was in the car. Cause, this is why when we was looking at this yesterday, it's like, all right, let's take a look at everything, see how much we can figure out and find. Cause the narrative is gonna be one way for like Timmy and the mayor. There's gonna be something different for ICE and the law enforcement and even Trump. It's gonna be completely different. But while you can look at this, and with the dude with his video that we just saw, which I'm gonna go back to in a second, he said the lady was in the car, but you can clearly see that she wasn't in the car. So if you was with your wife, why are you outside of the car while your wife is facing east and west, but the traffic is north and south? I'm confused. Like, I know a lot of y'all believe in lawlessness, but child, if the roadway is north and south, why are you facing east and west? You're blocking traffic, of which Timmy and them just said that you can't block traffic when you protest. I'm confused. But it was okay for these people, but now that everything didn't happen, it's not okay for everyone to block traffic. But for here, it was okay to block traffic. What are we talking about right now? Y'all cannot like what the facts actually, like, I'm not making this up. This is freaking, this is why you look at everything. A lot of y'all only want to watch, CNN. Y'all want to get mad because this is my live stream from yesterday. You're going to act like that stuff that we found on Twitter is not accurate. So these videos that these people made ain't true. I'd be confused as to how y'all come up with some of these scenarios, because you hate someone so much that you just want to make something up in your head because it makes you feel better, because you can't stand the current administration, because honestly, that's what it comes down to. So again, these mothers of three decided that the best thing that they should do with their time is to come down here and face east and west when the traffic goes north and south. Okay. Whatever y'all say. So then she's running over there. Of course she's going to run over there. That's why she's covered in blood. But the dude that was recording the video from his angle, he don't know none of that. You know what I mean? And again, from yesterday, when you see lights in on the East Coast anyway, in Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Delaware, you're supposed to get the fuck out the way. When you see these lights, you're supposed to get out of the way. You're not supposed to go east and west when the road is going north and south. But let me go back over here and look like the same woman to me. She actually wasn't in the car with her. Look about like the same person to me. Oh man, my bad, y'all. I'm on the wrong channel. My bad. Hold on a second. StreamYard is StreamYard, and hold on. For those that know, you know. Child. There you go.
Tell them to come check on their people. This lady got blood. They don't. She was in the car with her, bro. Or she tried to save her or something. Somebody.
Yeah, he said, or He just said, or she tried to save her or something, which of course that's her wife. So there you go.
Somebody come get their people. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet?
Yeah, she's new. They just moved here. For those that don't know, they just moved here. Where is my let me read this article. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you. You said only if the blood of Jesus covered her and not her. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, sir. I can't with you. This is too early in the morning for your shit, okay? Shout out to everyone that is here. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, subscribe if you are new. It says a blood-covered woman who identified herself as the wife of Renee Good hysterically blamed herself for her partner's killing at the hands of ICE agents, gut-wrenching footage shows. The woman was filmed distraught and sobbing just steps from Good's wrecked car in Minneapolis Wednesday morning as a neighbor who heard the commotion asked her what happened. I made her come down here. It's my fault. I made her come down here. It's my fault, the woman said through sobs. They just shot my wife. You made her come down there? Okay. She said that. So this is Renee. This is Renee. It says Good was shot dead while behind the wheel in an encounter with ICE agents. An agent who was clipped by her car, which we saw because we looked at it from a different angle and slowed it down. An agent who was clipped by her car drew a handgun and fired 3 shots at close range, killing Good and causing her vehicle to speed out of control and crash down the block. Well, we should be happy that nobody was in the way. There's a picture of the inside of the car. The Department of Homeland Security called the 37-year-old mommy. Yeah. So this is what we doing when we got young kids. Gotcha. A domestic terrorist, and accused her of trying to kill the federal agent while arguing the officer acted in justified self-defense. She had also allegedly been part of a group of protesters who had been stalking and impeding ICE agents throughout the day. Well, I guess that would explain how she got there and the wife was out of the car. Wow. Because again, in my area, when you see those lights, you're supposed to get out the way, not get in the way. You're supposed to get out of the way. Maybe it's different where y'all live. She also had allegedly been a part of a group of protesters who had been stalking and impeding ICE agents throughout the day. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said Wednesday morning, adding that Good weaponized her car. The woman, who stated she was Good's wife, was seen in numerous other clips from before and after the deadly incident. Anybody got those clips? Make sure you send them to me to my Instagram, please, because the odds are that if they were actually doing this, impeding ICE, and she got her camera out, they have other recordings of it. And I know that a lot of y'all won't believe it because you'll come up with all these conspiracy theories. But see, this is also the reason why people needing other people's attention with recording everything and putting it on the internet to say that, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And then that mess can be used against you. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. Just before the gunshots were heard, she was seen closely following federal agents and filming them. She was also standing near the car when the shots rang out and didn't seem to notice that anything had happened until the vehicle sped away and crashed. So she was also standing near the car when the shots rang out. Well, we can see that. Anybody with a brain can see that. She sprinted after the car soon after, while other photos from the scene showed her trying to help Good as she lay bleeding out in the driver's seat. Good had described herself as a wife and mom on social media. She also called herself a poet and writer and a shitty guitar strummer from Colorado, experiencing Minneapolis. Okay. So there she is. Her mother called her, meaning Good, one of the kindest people I've ever known. After learning of her death, she was extremely compassionate. She's taking care of people in her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Star Tribune. This is amazing. Good's supposed wife claimed they were new to the area and didn't have anybody to call when the neighbor asked if she needed help. She also asked that somebody retrieve a leash from the wrecked car so that she could keep a hand on her dog standing nearby. Okay. The numerous federal agents nearby all appeared to be ignoring her. The same clip also shows a resident who identifies himself as a medical professor repeatedly asking to approach the wrecked car when Good was slumped over bleeding to assess her. The ICE agents refused to let the medic assess Good, saying EMS would be there shortly. All right. So for everybody that's saying it's made up, I guess that part is made up too. I guess you just pick and choose what it is you want to hear. Good morning, Eric Powell. I appreciate you, boo. He said 2026 is the year of fuck around, find out. People need to relearn their survival instincts. I think people just going to do what they're going to do and want to be led by people just like this. Okay, let me go over here to Twitter real quick because we watched this yesterday. But look at how this is being shown. So y'all remember we watched this yesterday. Let me see if I can make a bigger pause. We watched this yesterday. For those that were here, y'all remember. So they were over there messing around with the ICE agents yet again. They were coming after them. There's whole videos on this. If I find it in my stream, I'll bring it up. But power to the people say another horrifying image out of Minneapolis. Look at the terror on this man's face as federal agent points a gun at his face and threatens his life. That is not what happened. That is absolutely not what happened. Enough is enough. Our government is committing war crimes abroad and murdering and terrorizing citizens at home. We need a revolution. These people are the ones that's getting y'all all riled up. These are the ones that's getting y'all all riled up. We absolutely watched this. So that's why in seeing this, these people be trying to lead people into thinking that it's something different. This man was coming after the agents just like the rest of these people. We watched the video. Y'all can say what you want. We watched the video yesterday. Now they're putting out these pictures to get y'all to try to think that there's something different. If you think that going after a person with all this combative crap on, then you're an idiot. Then you're an idiot. And this is exactly what they did. They, what is this called, y'all? I forget what this is called. Tear gas. So they tear gassed him. What are you running up on them for? Because you want to be a part of this, whatever it is that y'all want to be a part of? So now, everybody's, oh my God, how could you do this? Oh, okay, just listen to what this person is saying without seeing the whole damn video, of which, again, we already saw before they started putting these pictures up. Yeah, play the part that you want to play. Play the part that you want to play. But then forget what happened before all this. Let me see if I can find it in the damn live stream. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it in my live stream from yesterday. Oh, remember them people that were standing up there trying to get organized to stand in line? I don't know if I can find it. I work on finding it. Let me bring you over to this is Kristi Noem from yesterday. I didn't get to see it. So this is the city has burned before and your mayor and governor let it happen, Secretary Kristi Noem. That's what she said. Is that on? Yeah. Let's speed it up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I want to start out by addressing the loss of life that we saw here in Minneapolis today. Any loss of life is a tragedy, and I think all of us can agree that in this situation, it was preventable. I've spoken to the president today on the situation here on the ground. I also just got off the phone a little while ago with Governor Walz and spoke to him as well. I want to reiterate first with all of you the facts of what happened today. At 10:25 a.m. Central Time, Immigration and Customs Enforcement were carrying out lawful operations here in Minneapolis. Because of the adverse weather that Minneapolis has seen in recent snow, one of the vehicles became stuck and ensnared in the snow. Law enforcement were attempting to push out this vehicle, and when a mob of agitators that were harassing them all day began blocking them in, shouting at them, and impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the...
I'm pretty sure that's not allowed legally, but what the hell do I know, Cha?
And impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues. He was treated at a local hospital, has been released, and is now with family. I encourage the American people at this point in time to pray for him, but also to pray for the deceased's family and her loved ones. Today alone in this country, there have been 4 different domestic terrorist attacks on federal officers by the ramming of vehicles. 3 of them happened here in Minneapolis. We've seen over 100 of these vehicle rammings happen in just recent weeks, and this must stop. ICE alone is facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats against all of them. In fact, the very same officer who was attacked today had previously been dragged by an anti-ICE rioter who had rammed him with a car and drug him back in June. He sustained injuries at that time as well. And let me remind you why we're all here in this city today and why we've been here. In communities across this country and here in Minneapolis, we're just enforcing the laws that we have in this country. For years under President Biden, tens of millions of dangerous criminal illegal aliens, terrorists, and suspected terrorists were allowed to invade our country over our southern border. They were allowed to steal, to defraud, and to perpetuate violence against American citizens. Regardless of who your mayor or who your governor is, President Trump promised every single American that he would make America safe again. He promised every single American that he would work to protect them from dangerous criminals. Since Governor Walz has been in charge of Minnesota, we have seen homicides go up by over 50%. That's also during Mayor Frye's tenure as well. Since President Trump took office, Governor Walz has released over 470 violent criminals back onto the streets here in Minneapolis. He has another 680 of them still within his jurisdiction that he could give to us today to face the consequences for their crimes. Because Governor Walz and Mayor Frye refuse to protect Minnesotans, and instead they protect these criminals, that's why we're here. And we didn't just show up yesterday, we've always been here. But we're surging operations because of the dangerous situation we see in this country, and because we're no longer going to allow illegal criminals to damage and harm, to kill, to sexually abuse, to proliferate drugs, and to steal American taxpayers' dollars. This state has faced unprecedented immigration fraud. It's seen unprecedented benefit fraud. Individuals were allowed to come into this country and set up fake companies and fake nonprofits and divert billions of dollars away from American citizens and those vulnerable citizens who truly needed the services from those programs. This city has burned before, and your mayor and your governor let it happen. President Trump is not going to let that happen. He and our federal law enforcement officers are here to bring peace and to bring public safety and to ensure that criminal activity is stopped and that people who perpetuate it will face consequences.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
Oh, thanks, Chris. So I found the spot from yesterday, y'all. All right. So I'm gonna just play it without any sound. For the picture that we just saw on Twitter. So let me make it bigger. Fast forward it. Lord help your people. All right. Sounds like they telling them not to do something. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, who? No, you can't hear it. Hold on a second. Like, as Medea says, call me weird, but if a federal agent pointed a gun at me, I'd listen to what he was saying. I actually wouldn't even be in his face, honestly. But that's just me. Call me what you want. I don't care. I'm not interested in fighting against anyone with a gun, be it the ICE, be it an oppressor, or be it a criminal. Okay, I'm just not doing it. But to each his own. So again, this is from yesterday when we actually saw the video from them still pictures on Twitter that they're trying to rile y'all up with.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Child, you see that reporter get right out the way. That's me. You see that reporter? She said, child, I'm the F them out of here. She got out the way.
Hey, get that
I thought it was supposed to be peaceful. Exactly. I thought it was supposed to, shout out to me, be peaceful.
You're back.
Child, did you see what this, look what this, I don't know if that's ice. Look, you think I'm going out there with a man that's doing shit like that? I mean, that's what I'm saying, but y'all, what do I know? Are you crazy? Look at this. Look at this. This is where a mother of 3 wanted to be. Nah, pass. Pass courteously. I'm scared. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You think I'm going outside for that shit? I'm speaking as a woman, y'all. Let me tell y'all from the gate. I'm speaking as a woman and as a mother and as a wife. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Everybody want to be like, men and women are the same. Men and women are the same. No, we're not. No, we're not. Nah, we're not the same, child. Let me tend to these kids, child. That's what I need to be doing. Making sure that they got parents for the evening. Shit. No, I'm not.
I've been amazed, brother.
Oh, I guess that's pellet. Don't matter. Don't. So him pulling on that dude, on that oppressor's weapon is all right, right? Don't do that to me either. Get out of the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. What are y'all doing? Didn't Timmy say peaceful? Child, ain't nobody listening to Timmy. Unless they say, do what you want. Ain't nobody listening to Timmy down there in Minneapolis. NBC4 Washington. Protest held outside ICE headquarters in D.C. after agent kills woman in Minneapolis.
Near where Renee Good was killed to honor her life and protest ICE operations.
Raya Kootenay from our sister station in Minneapolis was there.
A member of our community was killed in this very spot, protecting her neighbors.
A growing crowd is responsible for this growing memorial as day turns to night on Portland Avenue in Minneapolis, and people gather to remember 37-year-old Renee Good.
This is thousands of people. It's just remarkable.
Reverend Sarah Campbell says leaders of all faiths are here to stand in solidarity with their neighbors.
My daughter lives just on the corner there, and she was in the neighborhood and saw the shooting.
It could have been any of us.
As ICE raids continue, organizers with the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee and Twin Cities Coalition for Justice say Renee's death will only empower them to keep fighting. They're demanding that the federal agent responsible for her death be held accountable and prosecuted, while calling on ICE to leave Minnesota.
Our community needs us more than ever right now. Every single one of us.
I'm beyond the thoughts and prayers. I'm enraged now.
A rage and sadness shared by parents who brought their children, neighbors who are with their friends, and people showing up on their own.
You come out here, you speak up,
but still showing up.
You say something.
It's indescribable how sad and how horrific this act of violence is.
It's hard to know exactly what comes next, but as they hold each other, people in this growing crowd say they'll hold on to Renee's memory as they continue showing up.
Renee was Renee. Renee was Renee. Renee was Renee. Renee was Renee. Renee was Renee.
The shooting in Minneapolis inspired a protest here in D.C. A group gathered outside ICE headquarters in Southwest last night. Officers from the Department of Homeland Security are guarding the building. Demonstrators tell News 4 this will not be their last protest.
What happened in Minneapolis is not an isolated incident.
In a post on social media last night, President Donald Trump said ICE officers fired at the woman in self-defense. He went on to blame the, quote, radical left for targeting law enforcement.
Okay. Let's go back to these guys. This is Minneapolis news. Eyewitness accounts of woman shot by ICE agents in Minneapolis, and this is from 8 hours ago.
We want to continue our team coverage now with Fox 9's Leon Purvis.
He's been on scene since early this afternoon, and Leon, you saw protesters throwing snowballs at local law enforcement who were there for crowd control, also blocking and pounding vehicles when those federal agents were on scene. You also spoke to some people who gave you their account of what they saw.
Yes, Randy, Kelsey, it's been a long day for many people. And I came here, protesters were asking Minneapolis police to arrest ICE. Now, they were at it for hours. Just take a look at the video yourself. Local law enforcement broke down the barricades and left the intersection as protesters followed, and they threw snowballs at police. Once police left, the community blocked off.
So you think it makes sense to throw snowballs at police? Does that make sense? I guess it makes sense to a lot of y'all. Okay. Y'all do your thing.
Off the road to hold a community vigil for Renee Good. And I talked to one eyewitness who saw everything unfold this morning.
I heard commotion from about a half a block away. I walked towards the scene, and there was a maroon Honda kind of sideways in the road. And people were shouting move your car, you're obstructing the road. And the car began to back up and then pull forward at maybe 2 miles an hour. And then someone started to shout, no, no. And then a moment later, 4 or 5 shots were fired into the vehicle.
But this lady right there, she's just trying to help somebody else. Stop. All right, call the police. Call the police on her. Instead of trying to snatch her car door open, go over there and do the proper thing. Don't do it aggressively. How's that going to get solved?
Again, these are eyewitnesses. There's a lot of unknown with a lot of unanswered questions as this is under investigation. But one thing is for certain, the community was loud and clear on how they felt about today's event, and they're actually still going behind me over my shoulder chanting F ICE. That is what they're chanting over and over again. Live in Minneapolis, Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
Good luck, Leon. He looked like he's just starting out as a reporter. Good job, young man. Good job. Let's go to Detroit, child. And protesters marching downtown Detroit following ICE shooting in Minneapolis. This is as of 2 hours ago.
And now to ICE protesters taken to the streets to make their voices heard here in Detroit and demand justice.
Their calls follow a deadly encounter in Minnesota that's sparking outrage over the Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown on a major American city.
Now in Minneapolis, ICE agents shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good. They claim she was trying to ram them with her SUV, and they say they acted in self-defense. Meanwhile, the mayor of Minneapolis is calling the ICE operations reckless and unnecessary.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described this incident as an act of
this lady talking sound like she's drunk.
Of terrorism carried out against ICE officers. Today, she is expected to hold a news conference to discuss immigration removal operations in New York City. Now, this shooting has sparked calls for change across the country.
And this morning, 7 News Detroit reporter Ryan Marshall joins us live from downtown Detroit with a message from demonstrators last night. Ryan?
Well, Keenan and Alicia, their message was clear. They say they will continue to fight for justice. They also say they want ICE out of Michigan, Minnesota, and every other state in America.
I was disgusted and to be fair, quite angry.
ICE protesters marched through downtown Detroit streets Wednesday night after a viral social media video showed an agent fatally shooting a Minneapolis protester.
There's no reason why that ICE officer should have shot that woman at all. It's murder.
So you know what I love though, y'all? When people like many of the people in the chat right now sit up here and just act like they right about everything, and that those of us that think the opposite are wrong. This is exactly what these politicians want. Child, y'all think whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. That's it. That's all. Because my opinion matters just like you think yours does, mine does as well. So if she thought that going down and chasing ICE agents was what she should do, have at it. If she thought that facing east and west when the roadway was north and south, have at it. If she thought that when you see sirens and lights that you stand in the way and don't get out of the way, shout out to her. If her wife was outside of the car, but they was doing the right thing, shout out to them. Okay? Now, what you think about ICE is what you think about ICE. What I think about ICE is, I'm not going to run up on them, but that's just me. if when the oppressor pulls me over because I'm speeding, I'm not running up on him then either. Child, just give me this damn ticket so I can go on about my business. Because if y'all are willing to die for people that wouldn't fight one bit for you, child, have the fuck at it. Give them all your money. But remember that video for the regular smugglers that we watched? Where that one reporter dude went and said, oh, you want the illegals to stay? Yeah, they should stay. Oh, they should stay. Well, can they stay with you? Oh, no, I ain't got no room. Every single last one of them said, no, they can't stay with me. Well, why the fuck not? Why can't they stay with you? You want them to be here, right? You should go ahead and provide the home. You should go ahead and open up your home to them. You should pay for their hotel stays and everything else. But y'all don't ever want none of that, but you always want to tell somebody else to do. Let me go ahead and take it over to the no kings. Y'all don't want no kings, right? No kings, no kings. Don't tell us what to do. You can't tell us what to do. Then you over here whining and crying doing 40 days and 40 nights when them food stamps got cut off. It's not right. I can't feed my kids. Then when they said you can't buy junk food with the free money basically that they're giving you, you had a fit about that. I'm just trying to understand what side of the street do y'all stand on? Because it looks like all corners y'all on. This is why I can't listen to y'all, because you don't stand on anything. It's whatever you feeling at the moment is where you at. You're not standing on anything except for being chaotic and difficult because of, basically, in my opinion, it's all because of Donald Trump. You imagine allowing someone to be in your head so much that they affect your life. I don't give a fuck about that man. He don't affect my life, but y'all love it.
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Again!
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Going, you're being a racist. Racist!
All those things. All the things, child. Just never look in the mirror to see what you do, what you're doing with your own situation, what you're doing to contribute to your own situation. And listen, you can go protest, child. You protest for whatever the hell it is that you want to. But as we watch this mess, and unfortunately, I'm sure there will be more. And as we watch what's about to happen in New York, as we watch what's going on in Seattle, because y'all, for the regulars, we got to get to Seattle and that crazy biatch. Y'all want all this free stuff. Y'all want everyone to have free stuff. Y'all want everything to be equal. It doesn't work that way. I'm not working for y'all. I haven't worked all these years for y'all. So you don't get shit that I have. My shit goes to my family. I don't know why y'all think that because other people make more money that they should be giving it to you. But we're going to talk about that later because y'all, I'm going to definitely live stream later from the shit that we missed yesterday and for all the stuff that will happen today. But come on, child, that's looking half damn crazy. Child, why y'all always looking like this? I be confused. Why y'all looking crazy?
ICE officer should have shot that woman at all. It's murder.
I saw the video. It's outrageous, disgusting. It's just murder, cold-blooded murder.
It's up to all of us to respond and let people know that this is not something that we're going to accept or tolerate, or let alone let happen here in Detroit.
Detroit protesters, angered over the Minnesota shooting, called for ICE's departure from Michigan and also demanded that Detroit officially become a sanctuary city. Michigan Republican Senate leader Eric Nesbitt disagrees.
We need to stand with law enforcement. We need to ban sanctuary cities. We need to make sure that local law enforcement's working with state law enforcement's working with federal law enforcement. That's common sense.
President Donald Trump offered his 2 cents on Truth Social. He said that the woman shot had, quote, violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense.
Now, Trump, that's a bit much. Willfully, viciously, child, please. I mean, she did it, but he's fanning flames too on both sides. First started with the mayor of Minneapolis with all his cussing and carrying on, talking about what somebody else is doing while he's doing the same damn thing. And that's the other part. How one thinks that the other is doing something when the other side, they both doing the same damn thing. Like, can y'all not see that? They both doing the same damn thing. Child, just because somebody doesn't agree with liberals doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they support Trump. That's another thing that shows that some of you are ignorant. CSFCS, no, you're ignorant. Because just because someone is not acting crazy like these people and going out and doing all this foolishness and fucking up your own life, don't mean that that's support for Trump. That means I'm not stupid. I'm not going out here for motherfuckers who ain't going to do nothing for me. None of these illegals are going to do anything for me. They never have, and they ain't doing nothing for none of these people. But keep on fighting for them, child. See where that gets you. See where that gets you. Shout out to Jay. Appreciate you. It's murder. Shout out to Ja. Shout out to you, boo. I see you. I appreciate you. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new.
And viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. On the flip side, Michigan Democratic Senator Gary Peters called the shooting horrific and avoidable. Peters said, quote, "The Department of Homeland Security's public statements about this incident are not only reckless, they appear to be outright falsehood.
I'd have been called worse by better people.
If this administration can label anyone as a domestic terrorist to deflect responsibility, then every American is at risk. Video evidence indicates that this was an unacceptable use of deadly force." And local protesters say they will continue their fight at next Tuesday's city council meeting, demanding that Detroit officially becomes a sanctuary city. We're live and down.
Well, congratulations to them. They can have it. If that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. All right, CNN, child. Protests growing after ICE agent fatally shoots Minneapolis woman.
Growing protests tonight in Minneapolis. An ICE agent shot a woman there, witnesses say, in the face, and she was in her car. She is dead. He killed her. You are looking at live pictures right now of the streets in Minneapolis. You can see all of those lights. This is a vigil near the site where the shooting took place. Crowds have been growing all night. They are chanting, "Say her name." And we have just learned the victim's name. She is a 37-year-old woman, as we said, and her name is Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good. She was shot and killed today. And ICE claims that the agent opened fire after Good, quote, weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to kill him, a federal officer. All right, well, there's a lot of video out there. So let's just show you some of it. Here's a video so you can see what actually happened for yourself. We warn you, it is graphic. Renee was killed. But you see agents approaching the SUV, which is stopped in the middle of the street. They instruct her to get out of the car. Now, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, then an agent tries to pull the door handle. You can see that part. The driver then puts the car in reverse, which is crucial, and then sort of changing direction is almost to go around. She moves forward again. And that's when the vehicle bumps the ICE agent, who draws his weapon.
She was just trying to move peacefully out of the way. That's all.
And fires it 3 times. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem calls this an act of domestic terrorism. She says there were 3 others of those today. President Trump says, claims online that Good violently, willfully, and viciously, this is a quote from him, ran over the ICE officer, adding that it is hard to believe he is alive. All right, now President Trump puts out his own angle of the video to make that point. Let's just show you what he put out there. This is what he's putting out to show the ICE agent's life in danger. You can see, we'll go back and show that to you, that he was bumped by the vehicle. We have video from the moments after the shooting where you do see the agent adjusting his mask as he walks away from the vehicle. So that you can see that there. President Trump says that he was injured, is in the hospital. We have learned that he's been released, which is consistent with him walking away there, adjusting his mask. Now, the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had this to say about Trump and his administration's account of what happened.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the
here we go with this sign language lady. Child, I can't concentrate.
Video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit.
Frey also did not mince words when he delivered a message to ICE.
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
Now, what happened today is something that Frey spoke about and warned about last night here on the show when he talked about the 2,000 federal agents who were deployed to a city and what ICE said was going to be the largest deployment ever. Here's what Frey said.
This is not about preventing fraud. This is about sowing chaos on the streets of Minneapolis, and that's what they are intent on doing right now.
In a moment, we are going to be joined by a woman who lives on the street where the shooting happened. She was recording as she was.
All right, before they get to her, I'd say just they should leave. I mean, I know Kristi said that they left. Let them be. Child, let them be. Handle it. Timmy been doing a great job. You see, we've been over all the people who are so sad that Timmy is leaving. Oh my God. We're so sad that Timmy is not going to run for re-election. Listen, there's certain people that like a life like this. Let them have it. If this there's a certain a demographic of people who like a life like this, child, everybody should go move there. Timmy said it's a great place to retire, is Minneapolis. They taking care of you for, I think, 20 weeks if you just feel like it. Tampons in the bathroom, y'all said he did. Alleged daycare fraud, alleged welfare fraud. You can get whatever you want there. I feel like all the people that want the government to give them everything should all go move to Minneapolis and Seattle. I think that's where y'all should go. for the rest of us that don't want people to take care of us, unless we're married to them, we live with them, or they're related to us, outside of that, I don't want nothing. This is amazing. I don't want nothing from you, period. So just we'll stay over here. Maybe we should separate states that way. Y'all go over there and let them take it. Go to New York. They'll take care of you too. Ma'am Danby is surely going to make good on all his promises. And believe me, we're going to cover it all. Good, bad, and indifferent. Thank you, Jay. He said, Messi, that mayor is a small hatter. It makes sense. Is he? I don't know. I don't even be paying attention to none of that. Me personally, I'm just like, he's trying to absolve himself like he's not doing the exact same thing. It's like, boo, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. Maybe your rhetoric until yesterday isn't as direct as theirs is, but you're doing the same damn thing. But what do I know?
Pleading with agents to let a doctor check on Renee Good, who was shot.
We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor.
All right, we're going to speak to the woman you heard her voice there, the eyewitness, in just a moment. First, I want to go to the ground and Whitney Wild, who is there in Minneapolis tonight. And Whitney, the crowd is growing where you are. What are you seeing? What is the tone right now?
The tone right now is resilience. It is a chance to pay their respects to a woman they did not know.
Woo, y'all really are sensitive around here. You people mispronounce my name all the time. You think I get all upset about that? Grow up. Grow up. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Oh my God, you're a racist. I'm racist for enunciation. That's the problem right there. That is the exact problem right there. Everything is not fucking racist. And what the fuck? Like, you're white. What the fuck do you care about how I pronounce his fucking name? I don't give a fuck. Why do you care? Why don't you go call his ass and tell him that I'm mispronouncing his name? Call him the fuck up. Do you think he gives a fuck? I'm pretty sure he don't either. Child, y'all are too fucking sensitive. Please go move to Minneapolis. Just please go move to Minneapolis. I don't understand, child. Y'all be the problem. Y'all are showing exactly why y'all are a problem.
Who lost her life yards from right where I'm standing. It was right on this block where, as you see in the video, she pulls out and the ICE officer discharges his firearm into the driver's side of the vehicle, and then she careens to the left side of the street and crashes her car. Just yards behind me is exactly where that happened, Aaron. When we walked up there earlier, and you can't see it right now, but there was a growing vigil there. Flowers laid right at the place where she spent her last moments on Earth. It was so striking, Aaron, because it was the first time that the public was getting a chance to actually see it, because this was minutes after the Minneapolis Police Department figured out the scene had been processed, and so they left. And the scene was still so fresh that there was blood on the ground. Flowers were surrounding the blood from people who had come to pay their respects to her, and there were fragments of a brake light. It looked like broken among the flowers. It was like I said, it was incredibly striking. Right now, what you're hearing is chanting. We are hearing over and over this crowd chant her name. We're hearing people speak to the crowd on a bullhorn. This is.
And there's a lot of people out there, wherever the hell they are, at the corner of wherever the hell they are. Woo! Listen, I'm assuming, I haven't seen anything bad, so I'm assuming that they listened to Timmy and what he said. So at least they listened to somebody, child. I am so blind. Hold on a second. Momsy Doodles. Ooh, Momsy Doodles. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce your name, child. I'm not trying to be racist, at least right now. I might be racist later, but not right now. So thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Appreciate all the channel members. Shout out to everybody that's here, whether you like it or not. You here to talk. I let y'all rock. Just don't act crazy. But there's a lot of sensitive people here. I'm gonna need y'all to get it together, and I'm gonna need y'all to just stop. So I'm showing CNN, so you should be happy, because we look at everything over here. Unlike some of y'all that only want to listen to CNN and The View, you gotta listen to everybody, okay? So hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and mind what the mods say.
Is right now a moment of reflection and a moment of protest. This has turned into a candlelight vigil here, Aaron. I think it is important to remember that we are 4 blocks from where George Floyd was killed. This is Portland Avenue. I'm standing right on Portland Avenue, and East 34th Street is just behind me. And this is a city that's worked really hard to rebuild in the aftermath of that. And multiple people I spoke with today brought up that this is in the aftermath of the George Floyd riots, and that the Minneapolis police have tried to rebuild after that. And what was striking out here earlier, Aaron, was the crowd was so angry, and most of that anger was directed at the Minneapolis Police Department, who had nothing to do with the shooting, but quickly became the target of furor from people who live here and work here, and for many people who saw it, Aaron.
All right, Whitney, thank you very much at that vigil. And, as Whitney's talking about that anger initially that was directed at the Minneapolis Police Department, which of course was not involved with the shooting. Let's go now to the Minneapolis Police Chief, Ryan O'Hara. And Chief, I appreciate your time. In the context of what Whitney said, how worried are you about lashback, about this anger, about anything getting out of hand or violence in Minneapolis tonight?
Well, I've been very concerned for several weeks, and I've been quite vocal about it. I have been worried not that federal law enforcement activity was happening, but how that enforcement was taking place in the city. And I have specifically
Good morning, Uncle Rick. I see you, boo. Oh, my guy. Oh, Tom. Didn't Tom tell y'all that this was gonna happen? Did y'all not hear Tom when he said this is exactly not red rum, not murder, not killing people, but you knew this is what they was gonna do. He said, don't F around with us because we not playing. And when I look at him talk and hear him speak, and he worked for Obama, but I'm pretty sure y'all forget about all that, right? But when he was speaking, he's saying it like a real strong ass man that ain't like some of these other people that y'all consider men that I would never, that's just me, okay? A lot of these men act like biatches, but to each their own. But when he spoke, he said it with conviction on what he was doing. And yet people still want to mess around and find out. And white women, liberal white women, think that they get some sort of a pass. So if that's what y'all think and that's what y'all want to do, then go on. Okay. But as for most of us around here, the regular smegulars, and we appreciate a man that knows how to be a man and not acts like a bitch ass. Like a lot of these people that we've seen in the last few days on daggone internet here. Shout out to Timmy and the mayor of Minneapolis and a couple of them other people. Child, I can't think of their name. Child, you know what I want to know? Where's Ilyan? What's her name? Ilyan. Where's she been? She been quiet. She been quiet AF. Y'all, they think that this fraud story is going away. It ain't going away here, y'all. We gonna get back to it. We definitely gonna get back to it because they still need to be held accountable and we still need to be paid attention to. They just shut down one of them daycares, but I'll get to that later because I got to go to work in a few, but I got about 20 more minutes and then and see what's going on, try to catch up for later on. Mumsy Doodles, thank you so much, boo. I appreciate your support. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of y'all that are still hanging in there. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. We're listening to CNN. Y'all should be listening to CNN. Here you go.
He said, I've been worried we would have a tragedy in our community. And I would hope that everyone, regardless of their viewpoint, can acknowledge that the loss of a woman's life is tragic. And along with that, things in this city have been very tense for several weeks, and it is a very emotional situation, and it's very divisive and politically charged. So that is why I have been asking all of our elected officials to please ask for peace and ask for calm. And as you mentioned, our police officers responded immediately. I responded immediately to the scene once I heard there was a report of a shooting. But unfortunately, as our officers were trying to leave today and trying to keep the peace, to preserve the crime scene so that there can be an investigation, so that there can be some level of, a finding related to what actually happened, our men and women became the object of hate, vitriol, and just the frustration that has been building in this community for weeks.
So, I mean, obviously it's very concerning. And I know in the context of that, what Whitney's talking about, how close this is to actually what happened with George Floyd, right? And what your city went through. But when you talk about politicians, there's different video angles out there now, and that's what we have. It did play out on video. The angle that President Trump is sharing appears to show the agent bumped by the vehicle. And he, of course, is characterizing it as he wrote that the woman driving the car was disorderly, obstructing and resisting, and then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. Is that what happened here? Is that the version you see, or is it different?
I would tell you this much. We owe it to this woman, to her family, and to the American public to ensure that an investigation does occur. And that
thank you, Mr. Oppressor, for saying that. Okay. I'm just a YouTuber, child. I don't have no influence on none of this. None of this. That's another reason why I just be like, some of y'all so damn sensitive. I can think what I want about this shit. I think what I want about this shit. Okay. And I think that he's saying the right thing, as he should. And I think that people who want to obstruct justice or be in the way and cause chaos, listen, you do dumb things tend to happen. And maybe you should figure out a different way, because according to Timmy, you're supposed to be peaceful and you're not supposed to block traffic. Oh yeah, that's right. Not these people, just other people.
that investigation occurs and it follows all of the available evidence to its logical conclusion. That being said, I can also tell you, law enforcement in the United States has been training for many years to try and avoid incidents like this whenever possible, to try and avoid having law enforcement officers placed into a situation with an unarmed motorist where they may have to use.
Prince, Tyler, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We ain't got nothing to do with this, but they keep bringing him up for sure. So people are supposed to get all upset and incensed and have another George Floyd moment, child. Y'all, good luck. Y'all go ahead and have that. We'll talk about it, though. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it. But if that's what y'all want to do and destroy the city and fight over people who wouldn't lift a finger for you, that's cool. That's what y'all want to do with your time, then do it. And we'll definitely talk about you for sure.
Force. That's why there is an emphasis on proportionality, an emphasis on if you are able to identify a license plate, identify who the person is, follow up afterwards if there is some independent crime that did occur prior to the incident.
Right, and of course, in this case, all that was readily available. We can all see the license plate information. That would have been very easy to do, and then I'm just stating the facts. Now, President Trump said it's hard to believe he's alive, but he's now recovering in the hospital, referring to the ICE agent. We understand he's been discharged. I'm curious, Chief, though, how you see this, because we're looking at him now as after the incident, walking away, he was adjusting his face mask after he was bumped. Obviously, he appears fine there. Do you know anything about him, who he is, whatever happened to him? Obviously, he looks fine there. He was bumped. He's out.
Now listen, of course he went to the hospital. He was bumped. We saw him get bumped with the car. We saw him limp originally, and then he walked away for sure. Listen, if you look at the video from yesterday, he absolutely got bumped. He limped for 2 steps, and then he walked on over to where the woman was. So going to the hospital, isn't that what you do after you get hit? Like if you've ever been in a car accident, because something could, be wrong with you later. So it's kind of a, what is it called? Preventative type of thing. So I'm just saying, I think he's fine, but it doesn't matter. He still got hit. You still was doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing.
Out of whatever checkup he had.
There were, at a minimum, dozens and dozens, if maybe not a few hundred, federal law enforcement officers on the scene. I did not speak to anyone, at least none of them told me that they were there when the shooting actually occurred. But I was very specific about asking if anyone else was injured. And at the time I was told that it was only the woman. So I don't know anything further.
Hold on. Shout out to CNN, child, for all you liberals around here, like Zach. Zach says, shocker, if ICE wasn't deployed, it wouldn't have happened. Well, child, if your parents didn't have sex, then you wouldn't be here. Let's go down this rabbit hole, okay? Because that sounds so dumb. So it's not if she didn't go there, it wouldn't have happened. It's if ICE wasn't there, child, it wouldn't have happened. Child, y'all be making excuses for roaches, child. That don't even make any good God sense. So adults aren't responsible for adult choices. So adults with children and a whole ass wife, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She's just an innocent around here. Oh my God. Hey, boo. Shout out to Go Political up in here. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Shout out to you. Said, let them George Floyd the city and tear it all down, but no federal funds to rebuild it. Sit in your squalor. I'm with you. So, but yeah, let's just make sure that you, again, as typical lazy ass American liberal people who want other people to take care of them say, it's just, child, go ahead. You it's not your fault. I shouldn't have been there. You should have been there, but I shouldn't have been there. Priorities. But whatever. Shout out to hold on. Shout out to Go Political. Always good to see you, boo. Shout out to Sassy Marie. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I see you. I appreciate you. Again, shout out to you and all the channel members. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to everybody that was here, good, bad, and indifferent. Okay. We appreciate you and appreciate the views. You're upsetting yourself, child, because I promise you, I don't give a fuck. But WMTW, which is Maine. It says Maine governor says Trump has weaponized ICE after Minneapolis shooting.
Crowds gathering in Minneapolis, Minnesota, holding a vigil for the woman who was shot and killed by an ICE officer. A makeshift shrine of flowers and candles placed on a patch of snow near where that shooting happened. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good tried to run that agent over with her vehicle, and she called it an act of domestic terrorism. The Minneapolis mayor and police chief disputed that account, saying Good was driving away when she was shot.
It was, in my opinion, completely uncalled for. The car was backing up and pulling forward, moving out of like the lane of like blocking traffic, and then shots were fired. For what reason, I can't say. But it does not seem to me any kind of justifiable use of deadly force.
Speakers at the vigil called the actions unacceptable and a direct result of what they called a militarized state with no accountability. They are calling for charges to be filed against the ICE officer.
And this morning, Governor Mills is joining multiple Democrats in condemning the officer's actions. They're posting on
multiple Democrats. Yeah. Okay.
her Senate candidate Facebook page saying President Trump has, in her words, weaponized ICE.
She calls it a violation of American rights and says Maine law enforcement will no longer be allowed to arrest or detain a person for immigration purposes, citing a new law set to take effect this year. Crowds gathering in
What is that? Hold on. Maine cannot and will not turn a blind eye to ICE's unacceptable action, which is why Maine law enforcement officers will be prohibited from working with ICE on immigration matters. I'm sure that they don't mind that. I'm jumping out on a limb right now, but I'm pretty sure they're okay with that. Shout out to Young Riaz up in here. I see you, boo. Moving on to WCNC, officials dispute facts after fatal ICE shooting.
We're following the growing controversy after an ICE agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman on a Minneapolis street. The mayor there demanding ICE get out of the city. The Trump administration officials, though, calling the shooting a justified response to domestic terrorism. NBC's Alice Barr breaks down the video, and a warning, folks, we want to share this with you because it's important, but some of the footage is tough to watch.
The city of Minneapolis, once again, the center of protest, outrage, and grief.
I'm beyond the thoughts and prayers. I'm enraged now.
After an ICE officer fatally shot a 37-year-old woman identified as Renee Good. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says the woman was blocking an ICE vehicle that got stuck in the snow as officers tried to push it out.
She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle.
Video from the scene shows an officer going to the driver's door, another stepping in front of the vehicle, and when the driver accelerates forward and to the right, shots fired.
The ICE officer, fearing for his life, and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry pushing back.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is
and issuing this stark message.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
President Trump defending the officer's actions and vowing to protect law enforcement agents. And as Homeland Security labeled the incident an act of domestic terrorism, Governor Tim Walz urged protesters to stay peaceful.
The Minnesotans don't take the bait. Do not take the bait.
While the community reels. Good's mother told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune she was a compassionate and amazing human being. Family members say she leaves behind a partner and a 6-year-old child. The FBI is joining the investigation as schools are closed across Minneapolis due to safety concerns.
All right, child. Thanks for the update. Let's go to Fox. Get your minds right. We're going to Fox. It says, Turley, this is just breathtakingly reckless. All right.
And Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley. And Professor, want to get your thoughts on this because this is going to be an incident that will be thoroughly investigated. The videos that we have seen so far, and I'm sure that there's many more of them, because there were a lot of people who were taking videos at the time as these ICE officers were being confronted or blocked from their duties. They're going to be analyzed frame by frame, but already you've got the mayor of the city out there saying, I've seen the video. What the DHS is saying is BS. You've got the governor of the state saying, this is all propaganda. Don't believe what they're telling you. I mean, is this the way to approach something like this?
I watched that press conference with the mayor, and I found it breathtaking how reckless his rhetoric became. He was clearly playing to the moment without knowing all of the facts. There hasn't even been a completed investigation, and yet he was declaring this officer is guilty of murder. He was doing that with a huge mob forming around this site. So I can't imagine anything more irresponsible than what we watched from the mayor. I'm not surprised, given the history of that city. But I don't understand how any elected official could fuel the rage as he did. And then to say that we're doing this out of love and then follow that with a line of profanity and demanding that all ICE leave the state seems rather in conflict. Now, if responsible people in Minnesota want to look at this, then there's a few guidelines that they should consider. One is we need to see all of the videotape. These officers generally have body cam cameras on. We very likely can get the image from the officer who was the shooter if he did have that type of camera on his uniform. But the standard here is it really was created in Tennessee versus Garner by the Supreme Court. And the use of excessive force under the Fourth Amendment is based on a determination of what's called the totality of the circumstances. Now, that term is important because
okay, you're boring the shit out of me.
Work down If there was an officer,
This man should be on YouTube, lulling people to sleep, child. Let me go over here to MS Now, which I think y'all said is formerly MSNBC. It says it didn't have to happen. Rep Castro on fatal. Oh yeah, this definitely MSNBC. Representative Castro on fatal shooting in Minneapolis.
So I want to come back to our top story of this morning, because White House border czar Tom Homan is not making any judgment call about what happened yesterday in Minneapolis, at least not publicly. Instead, he's calling on everyone to wait for authorities to carry out their investigation. Watch.
The investigation just started.
Just started. You say you can't comment on the video, which many Americans are seeing and reacting to.
I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. I wasn't on the scene. I'm not an officer that may have body cam video. It'd be unprofessional to comment on what I think happened in that situation. Let the investigation play out and hold people accountable based on the investigation.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He ain't gonna get baited into this mess. He's standing on business. This is what a man will do. This is what it is. I wasn't there. I gotta watch the video and everything else. I'm not gonna make no damn judgments. Oh, y'all liked Tom when he worked for Obama, but now that he worked for Trump, you can't stand him?
The investigation just started.
Just started. You say you can't comment on the video, which many Americans are seeing and reacting to.
I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. I wasn't on the scene. I'm not an officer that may have body cam video. It'd be unprofessional to comment on what I think happened in that situation. Let the investigation play out and hold people accountable based on the investigation.
Have you seen any examples of clear excessive force displayed by ICE agents and officers in the field?
No.
During the whole administration?
I love it, love it, love it. The directness, I love it.
People accountable based on the investigation.
Have you seen any examples of clear excessive force displayed by ICE agents and officers in the field?
No.
During the whole administration?
Things that I've seen?
Yeah.
No. And when I hear things...
He tried to ask it again. No. Stand on business, Tom.
You seen any examples of clear excessive force displayed by ICE agents and officers in the field?
No.
During the whole administration?
Things that I've seen?
Yeah.
No. And when I hear things, I see a story that an allegation is made, I follow up, make sure that it's being fully investigated.
Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas. Congressman, it shouldn't be notable that Tom Homan is having a let's let the investigation play out reaction, but it is because the Homeland Security Secretary basically labeled this woman a domestic terrorist without any sign that they had done any semblance of an investigation. And I think all of us just have some valid questions about what the context was here that led to something so horrible happening on the ground in Minneapolis. So I wonder your reaction to what we've seen here.
Well, first, it's...
Who is this man? Who is this man? Y'all know who this is? What is his name? Who is he? I missed it. Sorry.
An allegation is made, I follow up, make sure that it's being fully investigated.
Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas. Congressman, it shouldn't be notable that Tom Homan is having a let's let the investigation play out reaction, but it is because the Homeland Security Secretary basically labeled this woman a domestic terrorist without any sign that they had done any semblance of an investigation. And I think all of us just have some valid questions about what the context was here.
I do agree with her with that. I do agree with her with that because Christy came right out talking about, oh, it's domestic terrorism. I said, wait a damn minute. How the hell do you know all that, child? I don't think we know all that rhetoric. I feel like she spoke too soon on that. I don't care. She just came straight out domestic terrorism, or maybe it was Trump, one of them. Like, yo, come on now. Please stop this. That's too much.
It led to something so horrible happening on the ground in Minneapolis. So I wonder your reaction to what we've seen here.
Well, first, it's tragic that Renee Good lost her life, that she has 3 children who are now orphans. One of those young children, his father died a few years ago. And it was enraging also to watch that video, because I think it's clear to Americans that it didn't have to happen, that officer didn't have to shoot her in cold blood, and that at least a few of those shots, there was clearly no longer any danger from that car. But this is consistent with how ICE has behaved under Donald Trump. It is now a rogue organization that should be disbanded. It shouldn't have any role in immigration enforcement. They have arrested and detained U.S. citizens. They have deported people without saying where they're sending them. They've sent people to El Salvador who have been tortured, some of them reportedly sexually assaulted. And so this organization doesn't represent American values, and it's basically gone rogue under this president.
And yet when you say that it should be disbanded, that it shouldn't have a role in immigration enforcement, it doesn't sound at all like the Trump administration is going to disband it. And it doesn't sound, and it has been the central vehicle for their immigration and deportation policy.
That's absolutely right. I mean, look, there were $170 billion that were committed. I voted against the bill, as did many other Democrats, but $170 billion, a bigger budget than all the law enforcement budgets in the country. than any of those law enforcement budgets in the country. And so, this president has clearly decided that he's okay with things like this. Other governors, like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, have forced local police departments, county sheriff's offices to be part of operations like this. But the American people can see for themselves exactly what's going on. And so,
some of us can see exactly what's going on. And again, my view is different than yours. Don't make me wrong. I'm just saying, these people are fighting tooth and nail for people who wouldn't do shit for them. And for y'all that be fighting for those people, these are the people that are getting the benefits that y'all be complaining about that you want. Because you're socialists, that you want the government to take care of you. Now, maybe not you in particular that's in this chat today, but most of these damn Democrats want the government to take care of them. So when they're here, they've been taking the damn money from y'all. Y'all just gonna forget about all that, or then you get outraged. Then you get outraged later when you find out about all this fraud. Or is it okay that the people over here in Minneapolis can get all the fraud that they've done? That's okay. But then 15 seconds later, when the food stamps gets cut off, y'all saying it's not right, it's not fair, it's all these different things. You're dependent on the government. You're dependent on the government to feed you. I'm confused, especially in Chicago, specifically in Chicago, because we watch that. They over there when illegal asylum seekers is what they originally called them. They've been called so many names since they started coming over under Joe Biden and under Cam. And then we watched them come over the border, and they allowed that to happen. And then the dude in Texas, I can't think of his name, shipped them the hell off because he said, this ain't my problem. Then they went over there to Chicago. Then they elected Brandon Johnson, and he gave them everything. And then the people there were mad because you don't give us anything. You don't give us anything. Well, child, y'all was okay with that, clearly, because you said you wanted Brandon. And Brandon showed what his allegiance was. Now they mad at Brandon because all the businesses basically are leaving. And then they sat up there and got all the benefits. And now they're charging the residents that have been there with high ass taxes because they now get to pay for all the shit that they didn't spend money on. Negative in the billions, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago. Sounds like great leadership there. But I'm just saying, they're not taking care of you. You see that they're taking care of somebody else, then you get mad. But now that Donald Trump is president, now you're against it because that's what he wants, and he wants to get rid of those illegals. So now you want to say, oh no, they gotta go. Child, they should have been gone. They should have been gone way back when they got here. Don't y'all remember when y'all was upset when they got here and they started getting y'all's benefits? Y'all don't remember that? And again, right now I'm just talking about Chicago. So y'all don't remember that? Y'all was on the TV carrying on. We watched y'all. So now that Brandon is making y'all pay for it with them high ass taxes and the 116% for some of y'all. Now what? Now you mad at Brandon. How you mad at Brandon? That's what y'all wanted. But y'all still out there fighting for the same people that's taking your benefits away from you that y'all want, because y'all want the free from the government. Child, it's crazy. It's crazy. Child, we have been watching this shit. Shout out to Uncle Rick. I appreciate you. He said y'all was cheering when it happened to Charlie Kirk for expressing his thoughts. Where's the same? Oh. Uh-oh. Where's that same energy? Fuck around and find out. Oh, no. Trouble has entered the chat.
For those of us who disagree with what happened, who have these concerns, at the end of the day, there's only one way out, and that's to vote our way out of this.
I was going to say, because what is the recourse? Because I've even spoken to Trump supporters who, on election day, supported his immigration policies, saying, yeah, we shouldn't have people who are doing crimes and coming here illegally in this country. And even they have said to me, this is not what I voted for. And that was even before we saw what happened on the ground in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
so
no, you're right.
The recourse for people?
It's not just Democrats. I mean, it's also some conservative Republicans who look at this, some of them publicly, but more of them privately, and say, this doesn't look like America. This doesn't feel like America. What's going on? And so for us as Democrats, we're going to continue to do a lot of oversight and try to use the leverage that we do have in Congress right now. We are in the minority party in the House and in the Senate, and that does make it tougher. But the biggest solution to this is to vote it out.
because by voting, and if the House is able to flip, that kind of oversight power gets stronger. You have subpoena power, you have gavel power.
Right.
Exactly. You can hold back some appropriations, though, of course, the administration has trampled on Congress's function in that space, too. There's so much else for us to get to, but this story, I think, just really hits to the heart of the goals of this Trump administration, at least in its first term. And watching what happened on the ground in Minneapolis, I think, is going to put us into a whole new wave of what the focus is on ICE and how the American public reacts to it. Congressman Castro, stay with me. There's more I want to talk to you about. Wait, really comes right back in just a moment.
All right, cool. MSNBC, CNN, Fox, don't act like you're not getting all the coverage. One more. Minneapolis, this is Fox, Detroit. Minneapolis ICE shooting leads to tensions around the U.S. This was as of an hour ago.
Start your morning off with the latest out of Minneapolis, where tensions are high following an ICE officer fatally shooting a woman.
The entire encounter was caught on camera, and we must warn you that it is disturbing.
No!
The victim has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Macklin Good. Despite the video evidence, there are vastly different interpretations of the events that led up to the shooting.
It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull.
Don't bleep it out now.
This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
And the Department of Homeland Security has deployed more than 2,000 ICE officers to Minneapolis in what it is calling the largest immigration enforcement operation ever so far this year across the country. At least 5 deaths have been linked to immigration crackdowns. Minneapolis remains on edge this morning, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has put the state's National Guard on standby in case of unrest.
But so far, there has been no need to mobilize troops. This was the scene.
Oh, she got a nice shirt, girl. Where you get that shirt from? I like it, that dress.
Last night at a massive vigil near the site of the shooting, hundreds packing the street to remember Renee Nicole Macklin Good, a mother of 3 who recently moved to Minnesota from Missouri. Her family says she had just dropped off her 6-year-old to school before encountering the ICE agents. Police say the vigil remained peaceful.
This tragedy in Minneapolis felt here miles away in Detroit. That's where protesters gathered last night to show their support.
Let's check in with Fox 2's Robin Murdoch, who joins us live downtown with the very latest. Robin.
Good morning, Erica and Jay. Yeah, Detroit is more than 600 miles away from Minneapolis. But yeah, exactly. We are certainly feeling the effects of that tragedy that happens there. And that is why demonstrators here in Detroit, they did take to the streets yesterday right outside the field office here in Detroit, the ICE field office, because they want people to know that this is not acceptable. They actually described this as a abuse of power, what happened in Minnesota. Again, dozens of those demonstrators, they did gather right outside the ICE headquarters here on Michigan Avenue in Detroit. They started gathering right around 6 o'clock last night and marched several blocks. Now, the effort was organized by the Detroit Community Action Committee, and they said that they had to do something after seeing the video of the shooting of Renee Good, that woman in Minnesota killed yesterday by those ICE agents. Those demonstrators are calling for accountability and justice. Take a listen to one of the organizers.
We will continue to fight for better change, for accountability in our cities. I think this is something that should never be happening and is completely unacceptable. And I think it's up to our local governments to really take a hard stance against something like this and not allow ICE to just do whatever they want in our neighborhoods.
Now, yesterday's demonstration outside.
So we've seen that gargle already, but so ICE shouldn't do what they're doing, but y'all with your protests can do what you do. You see how that works? You see how that works? So you should be able to hide illegals and keep them wherever and make sure that they stay, even though you know that the administration is looking for them to go, but that's okay. Okay. Child, whatever. So I looked up because I saw somebody say about Donald Trump's approval ratings. So listen, we chat GPT because I ain't got time. So they do have a reference of Newsweek. It says early January 2026, a Reuters Ipsos, a national poll shows Trump's overall approving at about 42%, up from 39% in December. Disapproval in that poll was higher than approval. Some aggregated trackers, Decision Desk, HQ, Ballotpedia, Vote Hub places approval around 43%, with disapproval in the low to mid 50s. Specific subgroup polling, middle class voters has shown higher approval. 46% in one poll, but still more disapproval overall. Shout out to the poors. Where do y'all stand? Any poors here? Shout out to the poors. I'll be trying to help y'all. These figures are below 50%. Many more Americans disapprove than approve his job performance right now. Poll numbers can vary significantly based on survey methodology and timing, but multiple sources point to Trump's approval being in the low to mid 40s nationally as of early January 2026. So I know y'all don't like to hear that, and that's too damn bad because now stats don't count because everybody got something to say. Last story, because then I got to go to work. It says, daycare featured and viral video closes down. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Independent journalist Nick Shirley shed a lot of light on the widespread alleged fraud taking place in Tim Walz, Minnesota, including at one alleged daycare center, misnamed the Learning Center. But according to state records, yesterday the center requested the closure of its license. They are now officially closed. Here with reaction, independent journalist Nick Shirley. First of all, you did phenomenal work. Your life has been threatened as a result. Is that correct?
Yeah, it has been. It's been completely changed over these past week or so as people have started to defend fraud and come after me for exposing the fraud that was happening.
Well, first of all, I applaud your work. Thank you.
I know you didn't come out here with the Quality Learning Center shirt on.
For all your hard work. Thank you for your courage in doing all this. I give a lot of credit to you. Let's specifically tell people what you found and how you found it.
Yeah, so at these daycare centers, people in Minnesota have been telling me for months that there was fraud happening inside Minnesota. I met up with this man by the name of Dave who had all the evidence of exactly how much money these places were receiving. And then you start going to these daycares and they have stuff messed up, such as some simple stuff like leering versus learning. And there's no children at any of the daycares, yet they're receiving millions of dollars. And there's just open and blatant fraud taking place inside of the state of Minnesota with all these welfare programs they have set up.
And now we're finding out it's billions of dollars. When you began your investigation, did you ever think it would be that staggering amount of money? And as James Comer said, that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, well, within one day, we found over $110 million in fraud in just one afternoon. So if there's obviously millions and then billions, they have estimated around 9 billion right now, but some people have said all the way upwards of 80 to $100 billion in fraud.
Yeah, let's talk about, you did a number of reports on this. And you now have been vindicated. You've been proven right. What are the specific threats against you? And I pray and hope that you're taking measures to protect yourself and your family.
Yeah. So people have messaged me. They've sent me photos of saying that this is going to be me next. And it's a photo of a dead person in a ditch. They've said I'll be Kirked next. And they've doxed me. They've doxed my family, all for just exposing fraud. You would think this would be a time where people could say, oh, amazing, we're going to figure out where our taxes are going. But no, people made this a race issue. They made this a religion issue. When at the end of the day, it was just about people's hard-earned money going to fraudulent businesses.
Yeah. Nick, I don't know, are you planning to go full-time into journalism? I think you got a bright career ahead of you.
All right, now you're getting ridiculous. All right, Hannity, that's enough for you. Anyway, so that's the update, y'all. As of this morning, as much as I can see, I'm sure the day will bring a lot more, unfortunately. So we will be back later on this evening, probably around 6 o'clock. If you come back, all are welcome as long as you know how to act. Everybody can have a different of an opinion. Just try your best to not be crazy. All right. Hit the like button, hit the fucking dislike button. I don't give a damn. Shout out to all of y'all that came through. Shout out to everyone that donated today. I appreciate y'all. Go to work. All right. That's where I'm going. If not, hopefully I see you all later in